All right, we are going to go ahead and we are going to get started. There we go. Okay, well, welcome everybody. And thank you all for joining today. And we've got a lot to cover. And I am excited to share all of this with you. So today we are going to talk about the importance of adapting recipes to fit your needs. And we will walk you through the steps to do it right. So please make sure that your microphones are muted so we do not have any distractions. Okay, so we will go ahead and we are going to get started with the importance of adapting recipes to fit your needs and how to do it right. Okay, so make sure that you stay until the end when I will post the link to the free adapting guide that is accompanying this presentation. This way, you don't need to scramble to write everything down because I'm just going to give you the free guide that's outlining the steps that we're going to cover today. Okay? So, my promise to you is by the end of this webinar, you will understand the importance of adapting recipes to fit your specific needs and end the kidney damaging reliance on recipes that you are using and unknowingly causing harm, so you can move into safety, assurance, and know how to tailor recipes quickly and easily, leading to simplified CKD eating. All right, so in this presentation, we are going to cover the process of adapting recipes for CKD. And why is it important? Well, let's take a look. Let's start with the biggie. The issue that is front and center with CKD eating, recipe reliance. So if you've seen some of my other videos, on my YouTube page, you may have seen this one. I did a video specifically for this, and it's even mentioned in a few other videos because it's that important. So, don't get me wrong, recipes online are, they're the first step. If you're new to CKD or if you've been at it for a while, if you're looking for something beyond the same old, first thing we do is we search for recipes online, or, we buy some books and use what's in there. But it's what we do with them that matters. Okay, so why is this recipe reliance a problem? Well, first and foremost, nutrition. If, like I said, if you're in my support group or you see seen my YouTube channel, then you've heard me talk about this. And in addition, we have food dislikes, right? We all have them. And there's food allergies or sensitivities. Most of us have them. And, there's small portions. A lot of people are just like, there's this recipe, it hardly makes anything. I'm still hungry. And the other complaint, which we dealt with a lot, was the bland meals, which basically, it results in the loss of joy when you're eating. No fun. So let's just kind of go through each of them. Okay, so why is this nutrition thing a problem? Okay, let's say you are in stage 4 and somebody else is in stage 2 and you're both using that kidney-friendly recipe. So who's damaging their kidneys? Both. Stage 2 is actually going to be under-consuming the nutrients, while stage 4 is over-consuming those nutrients. So you see how those recipes really aren't going to work for everybody? And you need to kind of think of those recipes that you find more like a guideline, that they need to be adjusted. And you need to adjust them to fit your specific needs, making sure you're maximizing your nutrition. If you're limiting nutrients, protein, potassium, phosphorus, sodium, all of the ones that, we have to limit, you want to make sure that you are maximizing them each day. So yes, most of the recipes that you are going to find are set to the largest group, which is stage 3. But what do we got? We've got the upper stage 3, our A's, right? And then we have our lower stage 3, our B's. This means that those recipes, even though they're geared for stage 3, may not necessarily fit your needs. And so those of you in stage 3, you're quite possibly playing a little bit of a risky game by relying on those recipes. If you're closer, if you're stage B and you're closer to stage 4, and if somebody else is in stage 3, if A, and they're closer to stage 2, there's a big gap there. And nutritionally, it may not be hitting your needs. So that is our big thing for our stage 3ers. Don't think you guys can escape this. All right. So another issue is, of course, we have foods we don't like, and we are allergic to certain foods, or we have a sensitivity to them. So we're kind of grouping this one together because they're quite similar. So if there's a food, that you have a problem with, either sensitivity, allergic, or don't like. If your family member has one of those issues, if you got a kid who's like, I am not touching those Brussels sprouts, you're looking at this recipe and it's like, well, I can't really use that in this recipe. I need to do something. I need to get rid of it, swap it out for something else. So the question becomes, do you know what you can safely sub in for that ingredient, and how much can you use, right? Has anybody here, experienced that, had to deal with that? Type yes in the chat. And anybody able to, let's see, how do I put this? Does anybody have a quick and easy way that they can make that swap in under 2 minutes and know for certain it is a nutritionally safe swap? If you're able to do that, type yes in the chat. Let me know. Okay. So if you don't have that kind of information available to help you do that easily, it means you're spending time searching for answers. You're trying to figure out how to do a calculation, right? It's too much time that you're wasting, and a lot of people don't even bother doing it because they don't have the time. So what does that mean? It means ouchy kidneys, right? That's what it's leading to. All right, let's talk about those small portions. So when we started out and we needed to rely on those recipes, like I said, a lot of them, the portions were so small. Oh my God, it was terrible. We were still hungry after we just got done eating, but we had no idea what my husband could safely eat. Can he have a second helping? Can he have a snack? What snack? How much? How can we be sure it's not going to put him over his restrictions? So, we were pretty miserable. See this face? See this face? Yeah, that was us. I think that's what we looked like. Oh gosh. Okay, so those bland meals. Oh, I cannot think of one single recipe, not one, that we had that tasted very good. There was none of them that we thought, oh, hey, this is great, we're going to save this one. Not one. No. Even when I tried to zhuzh them up, this was pre-culinary school, they were still terrible. And, what are you supposed to do when salt's no longer an option, right? I mean, sure, your palate's going to adjust to low sodium, but when a meal is so bland that not even salt is going to help it, what do you do? How do you fix that? So what usually happens when you have small portions or bland meals, you fall off your kidney diet, right? It starts with a little, oh, but I just want to have that, and you'll have something and be, okay, I'll be good now. And then next thing you know, oh, well, then I'm going to have this. And it just kind of snowballs. And next thing you know, you're completely off the rails, right? All right. So I'm going to tell you something right now. Oh, this struggle that you are living through, it is not your fault. Okay. The medical industry feels it is just easier to simply tell you to avoid foods, eat very little of this or eat very little of that, or use their terrible recipes. And none of that is helping you, is it? So, the truth is the process to manage kidney disease is just that. It's a process. There's far more to it than like a quick blog post. And we need to consider the fact that every single person with CKD has different needs. Okay, so, a diabetic CKDer isn't going to eat that bowl of chili full of beans, are they? I hope not. A person with kidney disease and oxalosis isn't going to eat that CKD omelet. The point is that everyone's diet looks very different from yours or from mine. So how can one piece of advice fit everybody? How can one recipe fit everybody? So, are you one of those people that has like read something or looked over a recipe and then just uttered that big but, but I can't have that, or I can't do that, right? That's been you. Let me know. Type it in the chat, because I can guarantee you're not alone. So let's start by getting you dreaming and into the right state of mind, which you probably have already done, right? Oh, I wish. Oh, I just wish. So tell me if this is your CKD dream. You're able to substitute ingredients easily and for best flavors that work in the dish. You know your personal meal, snack, and daily intake requirements. You know how to make changes to meals or recipes to fit your needs. You have an entire binder full of recipes that you enjoy, and they fit within your specific requirements or even your family's needs. That way, you're only making one meal. And you never have to adapt or change a recipe. And meal planning is quick and easy. So what would that mean to you if this were your reality? If you want to share, go ahead and type it in the chat. Okay, so before we go any further, I'm going to introduce myself. So those of you who don't really know me can see, who this lady is that's putting recipes into a death grip. My name is Linda Blaylock. I'm a certified nutritionist and kidney health coach. I am a Chef Honors graduate from Escoffier Culinary School. I was a culinary consultant for American Kidney Fund for 4 years, where I tested and I created recipes. I also contributed informational webinars, cooking demonstrations, and I did a lot of the educational material for their blog. I am a caregiver to my husband, who has stage 3 CKD, and we've kept his numbers stable all these years. Woohoo! And I am also the creator of the How to Eat for CKD method. Okay, so I think you can agree with this. When we started our CKD journey, every single day, it was just filled with frustration, with confusion. We were scared of pushing that progression. And frankly, we were angry as hell that we even had to deal with this. And, we felt hopeless. There was no help. There was no answers. There's nothing. There was nothing but, struggles. Are you familiar with this? Probably, I'm guessing. Even those of you that may have, been working at this for a while, you're still facing this. So we quickly realized that doctors have no clue how to work the kidney diet. They know the medical side of it, They know the labs and they know, whether they need to burden you with some more medications. And I have to take a quick minute to mention this. I have been chatting recently with some people, and they've been telling me the advice that their doctors have been giving them. Oh, it's appalling. Doctors should not bother to try and advise patients on stuff they don't know about. Oh my gosh. Oh, knowing what I know now, knowing the truths about CKD eating, I was furious to find this out. I wanted to track this doctor down, or these doctors down, and be like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, just stick to the labs, dude. Oh, anyway, we'll jump off that. It was just, anyway. So now it is very common. I hear a lot of people, and we experienced this too, that they went to see a dietitian or a nutritionist, and they were given their restriction numbers. At least, okay, most of them were given their restriction numbers. Not even all of them were. And they were given like maybe a couple worthless recipes, or they were given like limited food lists that, you can most likely find online. and then they were told to like avoid certain foods or certain food groups, right? Well, when that happens, what happens here? You get stuck, right? You're limited by the tiny bit of information that they gave you. And those that are actually helping, it's great, but here's the thing. They're not going to tell you how to make changes to recipes. They're not going to teach you how to create your own meal plan. Instead, they want to do it for you. And you know what that involves, right? Yep, a lot of returning appointments. And even if you have insurance to cover it, that's a lot of revolving co-pays. So if your labs change, or your, needs for your kidney diet change, you're going back to square one again to redo this whole meal plan, and then all of the follow-up visits over and over and over again. And I hear this from a lot of people, and I hear this from people who are saying, sure, my insurance covers this, but I can't afford those copays, over and over again, right? It's all too common. The reality of this is, once you learn the adapting piece, you can easily start creating your own meal plan. And it isn't hard to do. It may sound really, when you you can create your own meal plan. People are like, whoa, hang on. I don't have the education. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's actually a pretty simple process. It's pretty easy to do. That's the crazy thing here. It's freaking easy to do. So, okay. So now, for those of you that know me and my story, if you guys want to jump up and go get a beverage, you can go ahead. And for those of you that don't, I'm going to give you a quick summary. So as I kind of mentioned before, we had started out and we were lost, confused. We were unsure of a lot of things, no clarity. We didn't have answers. And, I wanted to know those answers. So I jumped online and spent 3 straight days at the computer trying to learn everything that I could. And I pretty much ended up more confused than ever. There wasn't anything online that provided any kind of like clarity or answers. And then we were getting all that differing advice from people and sources. So they'd say, oh, do this. And the other person's go, oh, no, you can't do that. Just back and forth. We were finding like with the food lists, yes, you can eat this. No, actually you can't. Yeah, you totally can. No, you can't. Oh, drove us crazy, right? Oh my gosh. So I dug in my heels and became super determined to figure it out myself. And the big thing is I realized I needed to focus on learning about food and not so much about kidney disease itself. I didn't need to know that whole medical side, right? I needed to know about foods. So I went to culinary school, and then I went to school for nutrition. And then I did my internship with American Kidney Fund, who then hired me as a consultant. And through my experience of creating and testing the recipes for them, this process was like revealed to me. I noticed like these patterns that were happening, and I was collecting an enormous amount of information, right? So this was basically the turning point. This is where I was able to begin piecing together the insane CKD puzzle. And this is where the doors blew wide open. So I want to share with you what I found. You ready? All right, there you go. All right, if you were off grabbing a beverage, come on back. You don't want to miss this. All right, here's what I found. These are the 4 basic building blocks for CKD eating success. You gotta have food lists. You need to know your daily base guideline meal and snack numbers. You have to know how to adapt those recipes. And you need to build that arsenal of recipes that are tailored to you. So let's touch on each one of them real briefly, okay? We won't go too deep involved in here. So the first thing, those food lists. Kind of mentioned them before, right? Well, I realized that it was imperative to have reliable, extensive food lists that are going beyond, telling you like how much phosphorus or potassium is in the half a cup of bran cereal that you're probably not even going to eat, right? You need to have those extended lists that cover as many foods as possible, that are categorized, and highlight your top options and show you the best substitute ingredients that you can use. Our daily base guideline meal and snack numbers. You need to know what these numbers are and how to shift them when you're meal planning. These numbers are something we work with in my program to simplify the meal planning process. So this helps you to create your nutritional window and ensures that each meal is going to push your nutrition to the max. Remember, we had talked about, if we have to limit, let's maximize it. So it's going to teach you how to push that nutrition to the max, and it's going to safely allow you to be able to have snacks and desserts. And plus, it's going to show you how you're going to be able to work it to safely indulge on, holiday meals or going out with friends to a restaurant, or, having a barbecue, and how you're going to go ahead and do that and still stay reasonably near your restrictions for that day. Okay. Now, adapting those recipes, which we're going to walk you through this in just a few, and building an arsenal of recipes that are tailor-made to your nutritional needs. And you can also include your family's nutritional needs in there too. We show you how to squoosh them all together so that your days of CKD eating become a breeze. You don't have to make 2 meals. No more complaints about the food. Okay, see, that was pretty brief, right? All right, so as I was saying, the doors had been blown wide open. We found our happy place. We eat amazing meals that fill the tummy. We are living a CKD dream. We're happy people. So how's this sounding so far? Is your goal to be the same CKD eating happy place we are? You want to be there too? You want to join us? Because you can, I'm telling you. Okay. Excuse me. So for this presentation, I'm going to discuss point number 3, adapting, or what I like to call CKD-ifying. Yep, it's a word now. I use it all the time. But it makes good sense, right? To just have an expert show you how to do something, to supply you with or help you discover the answers you need, then walk you through the process, support and guide you the entire way, and then move you to success. So let's get started. Okay, now, like I said, don't feel you have to write everything down because I'm giving you the bonus sheet at the end, and it will have the steps listed out for you. So the 4 steps to adapting the recipes. You are going to locate the items you want to swap out. You're going to find the acceptable substitutions. You're going to make your swaps, and you have some options there, same, lower, or higher, and we'll discuss that in a second. And then you want to ensure you are within your nutritional window and have maximized your nutrition. Okay, let's go over step 1. You're going to pull out that recipe and you're going to locate the items in the recipe that you need to swap out. You want to adapt a meal or simply sub an ingredient, right? Seems easy enough, but what happens? You have no idea what to use based on the flavor of the dish alone. And you don't know for certain where maybe that ingredient falls. Is it a high, low, medium? Where does that fall nutritionally? And because you are unsure of that, you don't know how much you can even use. Can I just make an even swap? Can I? Is that going to work? Ooh, we don't know. So then you end up wasting time trying to figure that out, right? Or you just kind of use it anyway and hope it's not going to further damage your kidneys. Just kind of cross your fingers. Well, we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So in whatever manner you wish, highlight or mark those ingredients that you need to change. Step 1 is pretty simple, isn't it? Okay. Then you're going to find acceptable substitute options. Now, again, you need to make sure that you have the right information at your disposal to be able to do this. You need those complete food lists that cover all the food groups and more. Lists that are categorized, so you know those nutrient amounts, so you know your best options. Lists that are providing you with the best substitutions based on nutrients and flavors for your dish. And lists that tell you the best seasonings to use with each of your foods, because you know what? This is going to come up. It always does. So that's why I threw it in there. And then lists that are going to open your eyes to the many food options you do have available and, you know, ingredients you haven't considered but should. You are going to need to have this kind of information, and having these kinds of lists are going to make this part of the process super easy. Now, once you've chosen your swap options, then note it on your recipe. Okay, now here's where we're going to take some action based on the ingredient swap choice. Let's cover that same low and high, okay? So what happens is when you want to make that swap, you're looking at your recipe. I don't want to use this ingredient. I need something else. You're going to look at your list and find your best option for that ingredient that's going to work with the flavors, obviously. And then you're going to go to your list and you're going to find the original ingredient and you're going to look, what column is that in? Okay, say it's in the medium column for potassium. We're doing an example, okay? Let's say it's in the medium column. So now you're going to want to look for the item you've chosen as your swap and find what column that is in. So if your sub option is going to fall in the same category as your original ingredient, so if say it falls in the medium again, then you're good to go. You can use the same amount and you can make that swap. If it falls in a lower category, then yeah, you're good to go. You can go ahead and use it. Or you're looking at the option to increase the amount you're using. So if you're going to do that, you have the option of dealing with some calculations to determine just how much you can increase it by. Those easy calculations I have available in the program, so not to worry. Okay, if you want to use something that is in a higher category, now you absolutely can. It's just going to take a little bit of calculations. So just a quick example, we're not going to go too deep into this. If the original ingredient is 1 cup and you want to use a higher nutrient item. So if our original was in the medium category, but you want to use something that's in the high category, then you're going to have to do a little bit of calculation to make sure everything will fall in line safely. Often what happens is you end up cutting it in half. So you're using half that amount, right? Okay, consider that you've now taken a half a cup of food out of the recipe. That's now missing. And we want to keep the tummies happy. We want to keep them full. So we need to replace that half a cup that was taken out with something else, right? And like I said, there's a process that you can work for this, and it's within the program, and it's not hard to do at all, but it's what this process is what you're going to use, especially when you want to use those ingredients that fall in the high categories, especially a lot of our favorite foods we were told to avoid. That's when we're going to start working some of them in. And there's, easy way to do that. So that way you can still have your favorites. And, as you're learning this adapting process, it's the perfect time to learn how to sub in those ingredients from the higher nutrient columns. So, all right, like I said, didn't want to go too deep into that. Just wanted to bring it up so you knew. All right, so you're going to ensure you are hitting within your personal nutritional window and you're maximizing your nutritional intake. And then you will do the necessary calculations and note the nutritional amounts on your recipe. So if you've made a significant change, like we said, if you're jumping columns, either like say medium to low or medium to high, you just want to make sure, do that quick calculation and pop in that new number on your recipe, so that way you always know where it stands. And again, you're walked through this super easy in the program. So when you go through and you do this, now, like I said, if you're starting out with this and you're getting your feet wet, you absolutely can go ahead and just do the category for category. So if the ingredient's in the medium column, choose something from the medium column, make the swap and go. Or something, in the low column, make the swap and go. Just do it that way, make it easy for now until you get used to working the process. Okay, so once you're used to working this process, what's going to happen? You now have a recipe that is set to your needs or your family's needs if you've included them. You now have a safe recipe on hand anytime that you meal plan. You just grab it, note your grocery needs, and you go shopping. And the key thing here is you're going to build that arsenal of tailor-made recipes. And when you have that, things become so crazy easy. It's just a breeze. So what's that look like? Well, there's no more wasted time searching online for a recipe. There's no wasted time searching for information or ingredient options. There's no wasted time struggling to figure out what to make. There's no wasted time and money making 2 meals. You get that peace of mind. Stress is gone. It's quick, it's easy, it's safe for you because it fits your needs. And this means you're going to have more free time and everybody is happy. All right. So think of it this way. A little bit of learning right now is going to set you up for CKD eating freedom for life. I'm here to tell you because we've lived through it. We've done it. And CKD eating does not consume our life in any way, shape, or form. When you work this process and you work with these foods, you get, the stuff ingrained in your brain. You get so used to it that it becomes second hand, right? You can choose an ingredient and you'll know exactly like, oh, well, I can only use this much. I mean, things become so simple. You'll look at a recipe and you'll be like, oh, hey, I can totally swap this out for this. Bam, done. I mean, it's so easy. And when you have the recipes at your disposal, you're just like, oh, this will good for Tuesday. Let's make this on Friday. I mean, shop and done. It's so wonderful to get through that process and have it be so easy. So like I said, a little bit of learning now. It's gonna, set you up for that freedom, but you got to choose your path. Not everybody's ready for it, but I hope you are. Okay. So, excuse me. So as mentioned, this process is one of the 4 building blocks for easy CKD eating. And I promise you can achieve CKD eating freedom and ease. You can, as long as you have the right tools and information and you have that accountability and support, which is very important. And when you have that, you cannot fail. So the reason that you showed up here today is because you want to learn how to successfully eat for CKD without struggling, without frustration, without fearing foods. You want to plan meals quickly. You want great tasting meals in large portions, and you want to understand what you need and what the tricks are to make kidney-friendly eating easier, right? Okay. So I created the How to Eat for CKD method because my mission is to help support and empower kidney disease patients with the tools needed so they can successfully and easily eat within their dietary restrictions and preferences. So successful kidney-friendly eating is going to it's going to need complete, thorough, usable information and reference sheets, the knowledge and understanding of how to find your specific workable guideline numbers and how to use them and shift them to keep you on track. We were talking about the barbecue days or holidays or dining out, keeping you on track. A step-by-step proven method to use repeatedly to help you build your personal recipe collection that's tailored to you, and someone that you can get support and help from who knows and understands the CKD life. So it comes down to this. You need more than recipes. You need to learn how to make the necessary lifelong dietary changes, right? So my promise to you was by the end of this webinar, you're going to understand the importance of adapting recipes to fit your specific needs and end the kidney damaging reliance on recipes that you are using and unknowingly causing harm, so you can move into safety, assurance, and know how to tailor recipes quickly and easily, leading to simplified CKD eating. Okay. So I want you to have that CKD eating freedom. And obviously, because that's why I've stepped forward and I'm telling everybody it's easy. I'm out here. I'm trying to help people. But you deserve it, right? You absolutely deserve it. And it's time. It's time because your kidneys aren't going to wait. And it's time because you have better things to do than sit online searching for those elusive answers and sifting through all that conflicting information. There's great benefits to this, right? You're going to get the clarity you need. You're going to get a larger variety of foods. You're going to know for certain what foods are safe and how much you can use. You're going to learn your base guideline meal and snack numbers and how to shift them, make quick and easy ingredient substitutions. You're going to adapt your favorite meals to fit your restrictions, pull that old family favorite off the shelf, dust it off, and CKDify it. Learn to combine any and all dietary restrictions you may have from additional health issues, and this can include, again, like mentioned, you can include your families too. And you're going to gain the tools you need to have full control, total success over your kidney diet and never, ever have to rely on a high-priced professional. So, all right. Hang in there. Oh my gosh. I'm going to post the link to your attendance bonus in just a few minutes. First, here is my challenge to you, should you choose to accept. So after this presentation, I want you to grab that recipe that you tucked away somewhere that you thought you're never going to have again. Maybe, you know, one of your grandma's recipes that you adore. Go ahead and grab it. And then look over the list of ingredients and then highlight a high potassium ingredient. Use your food lists if you need to. Then I want you to look over those food lists and choose 2 alternatives that are in one of the lower potassium columns and note it on the recipe. If possible, make sure that the items you choose are compatible with the flavors of the dish, because you don't want to throw off the taste of the dish, right? Yeah, we don't want to get all funky with the flavors of our meal. So let's leave the funky for dancing, right? Okay, so after you've done that, evaluate how helpful your lists were. Were you given suggestions for the top ingredients to swap out? Were you shown, you know, categories for high, medium, low? How many foods were listed on your sheet? For example, on your vegetable sheet is, say, chayote listed, yuca. What about jicama, rutabaga? If you're missing foods, that means you're missing the opportunity to be using them. Therefore, there's a whole lot of foods out there that you could be using and adding a large amount of variety, and you're missing out, man. That's no fun. You're completely limiting your variety. So if you need those extensive lists, I can help you with that, absolutely. All right. So if you decided that you want to learn this process, you really want to dive in there and say, yep, I'm ready. I need to learn how to do this completely. You want to learn the answers about making this diet work. I have options to help you get started. I'm going to put the links into the chat. Okay, so the first are the books. Part 1, the basics, part 2, the core method, are available on Amazon, and they do offer pay plans, I found out. So that's an option for many. I'm trying to copy the links here. Come on, man, copy. Okay. So the information that we covered today, this adapting process, is actually in book 2, the core method. But you're going to need the information in book 1 to do it properly. Book 1 is where we have the massive amount of food lists. So I'll put those there. Okay, so there is that. Oh, and by the way, I slashed the prices in half too. So now is the perfect time if you were seriously considering this, if you need my help. Okay, so I'm copying these as I go so I can put them in here. If you have just a few questions, go ahead and shoot me an email. I can definitely help with that. And if you just want more information on, you know, all the stuff I've been talking about, I'm gonna put them here. Then you can head over to my site. I'll just copy paste. If you are in my support group, then you have access to me on Facebook Messenger. You can always catch me there. I am available. If you aren't already in my Facebook support group, you can join there. I just tossed that in there for you. Okay, so lots of options there. Now, dun dun dun. So, as I promised, I am placing the link to download the accompanying, can't get through that word, accompanying guide into the chat. So you can download it, copy and paste. Okay, you can download that and have it handy. This outlines those steps for you. And if for some reason that's not opening or it's not working or something, shoot me an email, let me know, and we're going to try a different way other than a link to get it to you. Maybe I can attach it to an email or something. I've had in some of our webinars where some people couldn't open from the link. I don't know why, but there it is. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation and you learned a little something, something. All right. So I just want to say thank you for attending.